All right. Well, we're going to hear a lot of reasons to do some of the smart city and technologically advanced things that a lot of the cities are doing. I'm going to give you an example of what we've done as using technology for the primary and specific purpose of economic development. So that you understand where I'm coming from with the project we're doing. So Peachtree Corners is about 6 years old, and it came out of an idea from a gentleman named Paul Duke, who was a Georgia Tech graduate, and back in the 60s, he was somewhat dismayed that so many tech grads were graduating, but didn't have any technology jobs in Metro Atlanta to stay here for. So he created Tech Park Atlanta. And the purpose, of course, was to create this location where all these tech companies would kind of, create that symbiotic relationship you oftentimes see in office parks like this. And it was a tech-oriented one. And, the purpose was to keep growing it, the little pebble in the pond. And he was successful. So successful, then of course, where the jobs went, the rooftops came. And fast forward to about 6 years ago, the residents wanted to create their own city. We all know the whole local control thing, and so Peachtree Corners was created. So we are a planned community out of that office park, but that is important here because Tech Park Atlanta, which is what Paul Duke called it initially, is a significant part of our city. Now, that main spine that you see through that map is 141 Peachtree Parkway. The bottom right there is where it splits off from PIB. And so it is one of our major spines in the city. And the jobs that come out of there are important because Peachtree Corners has about 45,000 people and 45,000 jobs. So we have a very robust job market, but it's important to us because it's one of the ways that we're able to operate with a zero city millage rate because of our business license digest. So when it comes to protecting our jobs, Tech Park being the main location, it's just under 1,000-acre technology park. We were finding ourselves in a unique situation. Some of you even in this room have your own technology-centric areas, and as things go, new things come up. Ooh, that's the new tech park, or that's the new location, or it's by transit. And so we were running into problems of being able to, especially in the oldest part of Tech Park, because all those colors are the different phases, we ran into a problem of attracting some of the companies that you want to, specifically ones that have millennials. So we looked to do something about that. You can see again that dark line there is 141. We kind of had a unique corridor. The outline of Tech Park is there. The original Tech Park is that blue area in the middle. And we've got stuff going on, on each side of it. But we looked at that middle section and said, what can we do to improve it, to reinvigorate it, to reimagine it? And so we had a couple of other things going on. We've got our town center that's under construction right now, open up in late spring of next year. Got a couple of renderings of what that'll look like here next summer. We did that, and we also embarked on an innovation hub master plan. We looked at what specifically we could do in that core original area of Tech Park that we could do to increase its vibrancy and reimagine it. Some of these things are not unique. Multi-use trail system, we said, roger that. We got an 11.5-mile trail system going in right now. You need more workforce or millennial housing. Got it. That's going in. This one opens up in the spring. It's called Echo Lakeside, about 600 units. And as a technology park, one of the other things is, hey, make sure that you've got things at the incubation level to help the fourth leg of that economic development stool. You have the recruitment, retention, expansion, but then the creation. So we not only have one that's associated with the city, or it's a primary funding source, the city has Prototype Prime. We also have 2 other incubators within Tech Park. So we kind of got that box checked. So we got to the point where are we doing everything we can to, reinvigorate that original area of it? And we thought, maybe not. Maybe there's one more thing. And as we think about it, and we all do, and you look at the world around us, it's so interconnected with technology. We thought, is there a way for us to use that to leverage one step further? And we came up with a plan. So within this original area of Tech Park is a 1.5 mile roadway. It's the original roadway that went into Tech Park. And this roadway has 2 terminating points. And we had looked at this roadway at one point because we were looking to do potentially what Chambly's doing, and that is have a transit-oriented project. That's about halfway between, at the bottom, we've got about 1,500 hotel rooms, and that halfway, you double that length. Top of that is where our town center and forum are, so you got almost 1 million square feet of retail and restaurants. So we have a transit need. We just couldn't quite come up with the rationale to spend it for just that initially. We thought, you know what? All of this advanced technology, all of these autonomous vehicle testing and demonstration, what we didn't hear was anybody creating a laboratory for those kind of things to be done in a real world environment. There's a lot of advanced vehicle or intelligent mobility testing going on in closed, sanitized environments. The University of Michigan has a famous M-City, which is a separate autonomous vehicle testing city they've built. You have a lot of those, but you don't really have them interacting. And so this offered us an opportunity to create a laboratory for this kind. Now, it started out as just for advanced vehicles. So we thought, okay, we'll just put in the infrastructure, the striping, pavement markings for the vehicle stuff. And this would be a typical cross section of what it would look like. We're able to take the face of curb to face of curb space that we have on this roadway and remill it and restripe it and put in 2 lanes specifically dedicated to some advanced vehicle testing, like you see there painted in green. And then the inside lanes would be where the human-driven automobiles will still be using this road to get to all of the businesses that are in the section. And we've got some big ones. Fleet Corps headquarters are there. Career Builders headquarters are there. We've got a lot of big ones, but this did not disrupt it. What it did do is allow us to provide a track for vehicle testing to be on a north-south motion, to be separated from traffic, so they're not merging in and out, but they do interact with perpendicular cross traffic at the ingress egress points to parking lots, or in a couple of instances like this where we actually have roadways. So it offers up a real world testing environment, but it's not so complicated, congested, and urban that it's really too complicated to do right now. So we started doing this, and these are kind of, what it'll look like. Now, mind you, these are older. This thing's moved so fast, and I'll let you know why in a second, but we actually will have 2 lanes. That only shows 1, and we started with just 1, but they were like, no, you need, 1 on both sides. But this is just to kind of show you the track. And so as we started thinking about that, and we started talking to people in this community that we're testing, we're not wanting to be the testing. We're wanting to provide an environment for those to test. We came up with a couple of things. First, and I just heard it when we heard the Chambly one, 5G. All of the autonomous vehicles, or really advanced vehicles that technology you're going to need, the wireless environment they need to operate in is too complicated for 4G LTE to handle. It's got to be a 5G environment. So as we were talking, we were able to get with a partner, and we are going to announce at the Consumer Electronics Show in early January a formal partnership with one of the major international telecommunications companies. They're going to go active on our 5G network that they've been setting up already in the end of January. So our 5G network will be up in Tech Park at the end of January of next year. So they've been putting it in up to now, getting it ready. So we're going to have 5G in this environment. So we've already created the wireless environment that we need. So we've got the environment we need for mobile testing, like autonomous vehicles. We have some interest in some drone companies who would like to test in this environment. They're like, well, does it have to be? And we were like, thought about it. Well, no, it doesn't have to be. So we've got some that are wanting to do that, to create scenarios where they can move packages from a location onto a drone to somewhere else in Tech Park. And we've got some of our tenants corporate tenants there that are willing to trial that. We've got some of the smart parking, of course, what we've got on some of the smart parking decks or surface streets in Tech Park. Ours are actually going to be the laser, so you don't actually have to have a structure overhead to know if, but we'll have it, our city app will allow you, it'll tell you exactly which space is open and which space is full. And then we're looking at, so then it expanded into the final phase here, and that is, if we want to do just, are we wanting to just do mobility stuff? And we had a number of companies come to us and say, well, what about smart city technology testing? And what about the other stuff as the transportation platforms interact with the environment around them? Meaning, what can we do to test that thing that we know is coming, and that's the car driving down the road, and it's called V2X, which is vehicle to everything technology. We want to know, what about if we want to test that scenario where the car's driving down the road, the light poles are tracking the car, it's talking to the car, telling the traffic signal up ahead, a car's coming, go ahead and, flush the signal out so it's green when that car gets there. Oh, wait, that car's talking to another car that's coming and going to make a left, and so let's not do it yet. Or the pedestrians walking that have the app on their phone that's talking to all of that is of interest because it's the interaction of the transportation and the, all of the outside transportation activities. You'll see everything. Again, you can see up there from pedestrians, other cars, the grid, traffic signals, everything. So instead of it just being transportation oriented, we're also putting in all the infrastructure in this 1.5 miles for entities to test any of this too. So our corridor is having 34 light poles put in that are special light poles that have conduit already in, so people can come in and pull wires and attach stuff to our light poles if they want to actually run those. Traffic signal that we're putting in will have testing capabilities. We're putting in video surveillance on the track and running it all to our incubator, so you can actually go into a transportation control center and monitor if you're testing your vehicles out on the track, collect all the data, telemetry. We're putting in the wireless fiber that the city will own and control to get all this to where it's all in one, closed circuit so that we can control it. So the bottom line is, to all this, we're, as an economic development play, we're wanting to create this 1.5 mile innovation laboratory for intelligent mobility of any sort. We're not going to be the ones doing it, but as we all know, activity begets activity. We get more activity there, we get more buildings filled, or potentially you even get a intelligent mobility centric theme into that tech park, and it becomes an office park like you have other places. I know Research Triangle, North Carolina has biomedical parks that all of the buildings there are one theme and they feed off of each other. So that's how we're using technology as an economic development driver. And that concludes that. Barring any questions.
We got a couple of minutes for questions. Any questions?
I did such a good job.
Such a good job.